Hello, Huskies back again with more Columbus Blue Jackets GM mode franchise mode commentary. Last video we kind of rebuilt our top six, kind of rebuilt the roster in all honesty. I'm currently setting up my trade block because there was a suggestion to look for a possible trade acquisition. The only thing I need is a star defenseman, and I kind of looked around because I have a couple of decent prospects that if I wanted to move, I could move because, you know, win now. The big one I have that I can pretty much bring in any defenseman I want if I'm willing to trade this Buckley kid. But I'm unsure if I really want to do that because I don't know what he's going to turn into. But at the same time, I also don't know how much longer I'm going to be interested in this. So if I trade Buckley and like a first, I can pretty much get any defenseman I want. It just turns into a matter of who do I want. I looked through a lot of teams trying to trade a lower prospect in a first, and it's just defensemen are too highly prioritized and their values are through the roof. One guy I looked at was, oops, that's still my team, that doesn't do me any good, was Noah Haffinen of Carolina. He's an 88, he's 29 years old, but they want to move him. He's got 1 year left on a $7.9 million deal, so I could re-sign him probably for less. So he's an option. He's got 90 poise. I mean, he's a great fit. Plus, like I said, he's on a re-up, so I could potentially grab him. But I would have to trade that Buckley kid, and it just depends. Like, is it worth? Let's see. Actually, let's line them up, and let's look this over. So obviously, I don't think this will. I don't want to try that just in case it goes through. Actually, no, fuck it. Okay, yeah, so I do have to add something in. Basically, we're trading future for win now. So if I throw in my second and Buckley, this probably won't go through. Yeah, so it's not enough. What I'm going to do is, it's a lot, but I'm going to throw in a first and Buckley next year for Haffinen and a fourth this year, just because why not? And that'll go through. So now we have Noah Haffinen. Like I said, I went through the teams before the video because I didn't want to. We've seen me go through the teams enough. I didn't want to go through all the teams again and look at players. But I think that shores up our defense, if I'm honest. So I'm gonna best lines it. So we have Cassian and Haffinen on the first pairing. Timothy, Schumacher, Carrick, and Martin. And now I have to fix my forward lines. Fiala. I don't even remember what my forward lines were. Actually, I think this is what I had it as. Who's scratched? Artukin and Brown. Okay, so they're fine. Maybe this is what I had it. Maybe I had it as line A, Wenberg, Fiala, Coletta, White, Viking. I think this is what I had it as. I would love to put Viking on the first, but these are all second line forwards, and I feel like they'll play well together. Two-way forwards and a power forward might not be the best, but the only change I would make is swap Fiala with Viking stat with Jorgen. So we'll see how they go. But adding Noah Haffinen, he's an 88. I feel like he'll be a good fit here. Let's meet with the player real quick. Demanding. No impact. Damn. Alright, well, playing time should pop him right up there. Everyone is playing in their role. Nobody's playing out of role. Tyson Jones is the only guy playing below his role, but that's fine because he plays so much anyway. And maybe Velarde as well. Yeah, he's the only guy down there, but again, pretty much locked into that spot. These are all, if I look at my defense, we've got top 4, top 4, top 4, top 4, top 6, top 6. And then goaltending wise, I think we have 2 starters. We do. So we'll have a 1A, 1B type scenario going on here. And we'll determine the playoff starter come the end of the season. Does Stewart have any playoff experience? Not much. He's got good stats in these two, but he came out in relief and gave up 2 goals and 7 shots, so wasn't great. But I mean, his NHL stats, he was a starter 1 year so far. So this is the first time he's stepping into a starting role, so we'll see how he responds. I'm gonna go make sure that I have auto rotate goalies turned off or turned on. Sorry. Before we get the sim started, rules. Auto rotate goalies on. There we go. That's all taken care of, and we can sim game 1 of the year. We're taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I have very high hopes for this season. I mean, this is probably the best roster we've ever put together. I feel like I say that every year, but we're already down 1-0. Skinner not off to a sharp start. Still not off to a sharp start. 2 goals on 19 shots. Not building the confidence right out the gate, but it's okay. Goaltender's pretty much our only weak point now since we added Hannafin. I think it's Hannafin. Yeah, I think it's Noah Hannafin. Who knows? I'm terrible with names that aren't from Chicago or Detroit. Chicago or Toronto. All right, so not the best start. We didn't get nobody got a point in that first game. It's okay. It's only game 1. We can only go up from there, right? Right. Go ahead and sim the January 1st, and we're pretty much just locked in and wait until the postseason. Interested to know your guys' opinions on some of the playoff stories going on currently at the moment. At the time of recording it, it is Monday the 16th. So we have a lot of game 3s on hand tonight, including Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, New Jersey, Nashville, Colorado, and Anaheim, San Jose, all 2-0 series for the higher seeds. Or sorry, except in San Jose where the lower seed has the 2-0. Honestly, being a Maple Leaf fan, I'll go with them first. I was surprised to see how much of a just disinterest the team seems to have. Freddie hasn't played great in net, but man, it's just he's not getting. Some of those goals that Pastrnak scored in game 2 were just like he had all day to do whatever he wanted in front of the net. You have deflection goals left and right. It's just the team looks lost. Now, I've had to work the past couple nights, so I haven't seen a lot of game 2s from the other series, but I watched pretty much every game 1. Great. Pretty much watch every game 1 and a couple of game 2s. Sadly, I went in late to work so I could watch a Toronto game. That was a mistake. Fucking 7-3 loss. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Vegas is up 3-0 on the Kings, but at the same time, that series could easily be 3-0 the other way. It's all been goaltending. Jonathan Quick has been... He's lost every game, but he's been amazing. Connor Brown, you have to play to perform, bud. So yeah, I'm very surprised to see. Honestly, I didn't think Vegas would get past the first round, to be truthful. I didn't have high hopes for them. I figured a team seeing them multiple times would be able to take care of them. I mean, to their credit, the Kings have done everything they can. They just can't seem to find the back of the net. As for Washington and Columbus, man, they got to get their goaltender situation figured out. Damn it, I put him in before he was healthy, and sure enough, he gets hurt again. I talked about that in my last Rangers video. Oh, I didn't realize that, I just read in the headlines that Vegas had to score 3 goals in the third to win that game. That's damn impressive with how Quick's playing. And Columbus, man, wow. 2 overtime wins. I mean, that Panarin goal in the first one was filthy. And I mean, Calvert just outworked him in game 2. And again, I know I'm not talking about the video game right now because there's really nothing to talk about. I mean, we're 19, 10, and 1. The regular season's pretty much just whatever at this point. Waiting for the sim to get to the point. We're basically just a playoffs or team bust, so might as well talk about the real NHL. Winnipeg pretty much doing what I'm surprised Minnesota got a game off Winnipeg. I expected that to be a clean 3-0 or 4-0. I don't think very highly of Minnesota. Devin Dubnyk hasn't proved to be a playoff goaltender. Eric Stahl's our leading goal scorer, and he was struggling really bad in the first 2 games. All right, Cassian, I need you to stay healthy, bud. It's not going well for us. Lots of injuries right now. Lots of injuries. All right. So 22, 12, and 2. I'm going to take a break from talking real life. We'll talk about the game. We'll see how our top 6 are doing, because I want to see how Fiala and Jorgen are doing. Those would be the ones that I would swap. So we've got Colin White leading the team with 28 points. Coletta's got 27. Jorgen's got 21. So the second line is doing their job. It's the first line that's struggling. Kevin Fiala has 20 points. Patrick Laine, 20 points. Wenberg, 16. Tyson Jost is a -4. He's got 10 goals, but the rest of his line mates just don't seem to be picking him up. Our fourth line is doing really well. +9 for Velarde. Our defensive pairings, aside from Tavares, who keeps jumping in for an injured Cassian. So when we're healthy, I think we're doing fine. Because, I mean, look at the difference. Cassian's a +10 at 1 point, whereas Tavares is a -6. So, granted, Schumacher and Timothy? I mean, they're not doing bad. Interested to see the goaltenders. Let's see. So Skinner's 14-7-0 with a 925 and a 217. Van Allen is 8-5-2, 918, 240. So Skinner's still playing his way to the starting role, definitely. I think I'm gonna swap Fiala and Jorgen and see if that livens up the top 6 a little bit. Let's see. All right, so edit lines. Yeah, so let's just swap Fiala and Jorgen, and we'll see how that goes. I feel like that might help the first line. That might kick Laine up, because Jorgen has had very good success with Laine. So we'll send him to the trade deadline and see how that goes. And we'll talk more about the NHL. Because, I mean, it's playoffs. Like, it's a fun thing to talk about. We'll send him to the trade deadline. Excuse me. Alright, so what else? What else can we talk about? Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. I kind of expected Pittsburgh to clean sweep that one too, if I'm honest. I mean, especially when you come out and you win 7-0 in game 1. But Philly bounced right back, which was impressive, but then they blew it at home in game 3. I mean, they got 1 on the road, which is pretty much all you want to do. And, oh my god, would you stay healthy? He can't last a game. This is ridiculous. That's the only other series that's got 3 games played, right? Yeah. The other game 3s are tonight. Nashville, Colorado. I was impressed with Colorado's ability to put some offense on the board. I don't really know how game 2 went, but I know game 1 they came out and got ahead pretty early. New Jersey's trying to... New Jersey can't figure out their goaltending. Like, they need Corey Schneider to really come in and, like, turn the tide in game 3. Keith Kincaid got him to the playoffs, but I think Schneider... I mean, it's the same thing with Washington. Like, you've got these two good goalies. I mean, Braden Holtby's got the second best save percentage in the postseason ever, and he got benched for Grubauer, like, before even playing a game. Now, I don't know how Washington ended the season. I kind of fell off with the NHL near the end of the season because the Hawks will suck, and the Leafs were locked into the 3 seed since, like, February. So there just wasn't much to keep an eye on. And I work nights, so it's tough to keep an eye on it. But man, I think our local hockey rink put together a bracket challenge, kind of for everything. Adrian Kempe, no thank you. And I think I have... Well, I did 2 brackets. I did the one with my brain and one with my heart. I have Toronto winning the one with my heart over Winnipeg. And then I think the other one I have Nashville beating Pittsburgh in a rematch. Which is lame, I know. But, I mean... Out of the East, it's tough. I mean, Boston looks awesome. But... that's youth versus youth. Like, neither of those teams has a whole lot of playoff experience. I mean, the Leafs have Anderson and Marlowe. And you get past there, there's not a whole lot of playoff experience there. I don't know how much. I mean, Hainsey's got some with Pittsburgh, I think. I mean, that's where he was before the Leafs, at least for a season or two. But I mean, Pittsburgh is just so deep, and no matter who plays with Crosby, he makes them so much better. I mean, Tampa looked dominant at the start of the year, but man, they really fell off at the end of the year. Vasilevsky looked human to end the year. I don't put much stock into Western teams, like way out like San Jose, Anaheim, just because they never do anything come postseason. They get to the conference finals, and that's it. It's a shame, but that's kind of what happens. Is everybody in the lineup? I feel like somebody's missing. Who's scratched? Oh, Schumacher's hurt. Okay. Alright, so we're 39, 18, and 5. We're rolling. Glad the playoffs are going on, so it gives me something to talk about during these regular season sims. I'm going to sim the entire regular season, just this video, because, again, there's not much. We don't have much going on in terms of the regular season. Rintoul, a 5th and a 7th for a 4th. No, thank you. I don't think Rintoul's really worth anything. He's just a defensive prospect. I'll be interested to see if Toronto remembers they have a game tonight, or if they oversleep in their, since it's a home game, and just forget to come out again. I think the most competitive series out east has been Washington-Columbus, right? I mean, Tampa Bay, New Jersey was close games, but... Alright, 40, 18, and 5, let's see. Can I get a... Yeah, that's what I wanted. Alright, so let's see. So Colin White still leads the team in points. Guy's a monster. Maybe he should be my first line center. 52 points. Kind of was hoping our first line would jump up there, but Coletta 45, Fiala 44. But I mean, the plus minuses, I mean, Patrick Laine's got 26 goals. Tyson Joseph's 25 on the third line. The guy is amazing. So glad I brought him in. Jorgen with 35 points. A little down. I mean, our points are down, but at the same time, I keep talking about it. We have an 11 goal scorer on our fourth line. Our fourth line almost has 3 10-goal scorers. So you look at those missing points from our top line, and that's where they are. We just have so much scoring throughout the lineup that it just... I mean, Schumacher's got 7 goals on the back end. I mean, that's a big one. Hannafin has 5. Timothy has 1. 1. I mean, we just have so much goal scoring. I'm digging this Coletta kid, though. Comes in, he's a plus 14, he's got 45 points. He's playing on the second line. Only 24. I mean, the only reason I'm still doing this GM mode is obviously I want to win a cup. I mean, duh, but we have a very young team. We have a couple 30-year-olds. I mean, Wenberg's 32. Fiala's 30, and White's 30. But aside from that, I mean, Laine's 28, Joseph's 28. Coletta's 24, White's 30. No, White's 30. Jorgen's 25. I mean, so we have a good youngish team. We have a good middle of the road team. Goaltender wise, Stuart Skinner 27, 12, 916, 239. So his stats could be better, but his win-loss record is kind of where it's at. So I'm digging that. Ooh, Tampa won 5-3 in game 2. I thought game 2 was closer than that. I know game 1 was close and Tampa got a late goal. Oh no, Tampa blew him up in the second period. Damn. All right, let's finish off the sim. We'll dive into tonight's games, since that's really... I'm assuming most of you will watch this the day that the video comes out. That's usually when most of my views happen. So we got Boston, Toronto in Toronto. Toronto down 2-0. I tell you, man, if they don't score the first goal, I think they lose the game again. I think if Boston gets an early lead, I think it's GG. Because Freddie looks lost. He's kind of been the reason that the team has gotten where they are. And you've got guys like Matthews. You don't have Kadri still, which that was just inexcusable. That was the dumbest play I think I've ever... That was almost... I don't know which was dumber. Corey Perry's hit on Melker Karlsson or Nazem Kadri's hit on whoever was down. I don't know who was down. Kadri's hit was bad. I just don't know who he hit. But I mean, they're both bonehead, dumb, stupid plays. And I think Kadri's is dumber because it was, just straight up you're kneeing a guy in the back of the head when the puck's going towards the blue line. Whereas Perry, you can kind of talk into it like it was he was gonna body the guy up trying to get to a loose puck, even though the puck was nowhere near him, and he just railroaded him. Like, at least bump him into the boards or something. Don't be dumb. But yeah, like I said, if Toronto doesn't get the first goal, I think they lose. Tampa Bay, I think New Jersey takes it. New goalie, they're gonna come out fresh, re-energized. I think they take Game 3, probably like a 2-1 game. Nashville, Colorado, I think Nashville blows them out. I think tonight's like a 6-1 or a 5-2 game for Nashville. Bernier's been decent, but I think that Nashville gets the best from the night. And Anaheim, San Jose, I think that's going to be an overtime game. And I'd say Anaheim wins it in double overtime. Unlike something stupid. Like a shot from the point goes wide and hits somebody or something like that. It's not a clean shot. But those are my predictions for tonight. So Boston, New Jersey, Nashville, San Jose. Or no, Anaheim, sorry. So a 3-0, a 2-1, a 3-0, and a 2-1 in terms of series. Ooh, speaking of Tampa, hello. Interesting. At least it's not Philly. Those bastards getting an 80 overall in the 4th round. Fuckers. Alright, so let's see how our season ended. Colin White leading the team in points with 58. That's how you know it's depth. Look at that. 58, 56, 55, 54, 50, 44, 44. And then our 2 defensemen with almost 40 apiece. Like, that's... I can't even be upset. Ernest Moore, 3rd liner, 10 goals. Gabriel Velarde, 4th line, 14 goals. Schumacher, 10 goals on the back end. Olas, 7 goals, 4th line. Molson, 11 goals, 3rd line. Malkahov, 13 goals, 4th line. Like, this is ridiculous. We had 2 players not score 10 or more on our forward core, and they were our 1st line center and our 3rd line, or 4th line left winger. Even our Tukin had 2 goals in 19 games. Jesus Christ. That's unreal. Laine 31 goals, Tyson Joe's 31 goals. God damn, we're so much depth. I just really hope that that doesn't bite us in the ass come postseason time. As for goaltenders, I kind of want to go Van Allen for the postseason. I'll leave it to the comments. Feel free to leave your insight on goaltenders. I mean, his stats are better. I mean, it's only 20 less games, but his win-loss is better. His stats are better. I'm leaning towards Van Allen, if I'm gonna tell the truth here. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Van Allen. But like I said, comments for anything you want to talk about. Said I gave you my predictions for tonight's Monday the 16th games, as well as some insight into my team. So, as always, I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next video.